Welcome back to another episode of Pondering Parenthood Podcast. I am your host, Mike, with my lovely co-host,
Meghann.
And on today's episode, we are going to focus on holiday traditions. This episode is coming out in December, and we figured putting out a holiday episode of sorts would be...
thematic.
would be in line. So in a moment, we're going to kind of talk about our backgrounds, but just an overview. I'm Jewish, and I was raised in a fairly religious household. We didn't keep kosher, but we did do, or at least I went over to my grandparents' house most weekends and did Shabbat dinner, where we lit candles and we sang songs. And then we would go to temple on Saturdays. And I went to a fairly conservative temple. I also grew up going to Hebrew school, usually twice a week. And I did that all the way up through my bar mitzvah, when I was 13 years old. And then even after that, typically most kids that that went to my temple or were in my Hebrew school, like they would do their bar mitzvah and they would stop. But I continued studying with the cantor and the rabbi in our temple up until I was probably like 14 or 15 years old. I now am not really a practicing Jew. Certainly from an ethnic standpoint, I still very, very much connected to Judaism, but I don't go to temple anymore. It's not a huge part of my life. But there are aspects of my childhood and there are aspects of the Jewish faith that I still want to have as part of my kids' lives. And so what we're going to talk about today is a little bit of our backgrounds. I kind of just went into my background. Meghann will talk about her background with religion. And then we're going to kind of talk about how we navigate that with our children, or how we don't navigate with that with our children, because I think we both kind of struggle with what we want. I don't want to say religion, because it's not really so much religion, but what we want our kids to grow up, what sort of traditions we want our kids to grow up with. So Meghann, what is your religious background?
I grew up in a very Christian household. I also went to church every Sunday from as early as I can remember. I was pretty heavily involved in my youth group, starting around age 14, 15. I guess I would have considered myself like the poster child for young Christian, for a good portion of my life. And then kind of backed away from a lot of that through some of my college years. We're very similar in the fact that we both culturally obviously still follow a lot of the traditions that our religion practices, but belief-wise, not so much. So it can get a little confusing when you're bringing up kids and figuring out how you still want to value certain traditions, but maybe not maintaining the theology behind it. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, and let's just dig in a little bit. So when you say you were like the poster child for Christianity, can you be a little bit more specific about... Because, we can go as deep as we want into this, but, it wasn't like you weren't of the family that, we go to church on Christmas, we go to church on Easter, and, you know, your family still, they say grace at dinner.
Yep. We were very heavily involved in the church. You engaged in purity culture. Oh yeah, my dad was a big part of the worship band at one of the churches. He was an elder at one of the churches we were in. in the, early 2000s, purity culture was a big part of the church.
Yeah, purity ring.
Purity ring. A lot of that was very much me, just being surrounded by that way of thinking, and I very much took to it. It's also really easy when you're, 9 years old to be like, this is what I'm gonna do with the rest of my life. So yeah, no, very, very heavily involved, and that was a big part of my identity, for sure.
I mean, to the point where when you and I found each other on... So, I don't think we've ever talked about this on this podcast, but Meghann and I met online. We met online before that was sort of the normal thing to do. In fact, when we met online, it was pretty common that, it was like a joke, right? And it was something that, like, to some extent... I don't think I had this, but you like didn't want to tell people we had met online. Like that was like there was some,
there's definitely
little bit of stigma and some shame there,
which is so funny because now that's like the way people meet.
Yeah. But when we met online on OkCupid, on OkCupid you would answer questions, and that would be one of the ways that you would match with people, that you would have similar answers to questions. And I remember reading some of your questions, and like one of them was like, "Is God important in your life?" And it was like. There were like 4 answers, right? It was like very much yes, yes, no, very much no, kind of. Yeah. I don't know that those were the things, but you were like all the way on like, yes, this is very important. And anything else you want to talk about with your background or?
It is interesting. I feel like for quite a while in my young adulthood, after kind of deconstructing a lot of my religious beliefs, I was very much in more of like an atheist viewpoint, and like none of it's real.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe not so much none of it's real, but that nobody knows. It didn't make sense to me to claim a very hard and fast belief when you can't prove anything. And so
that's sort of agnostic.
Yeah, I guess agnostic was more how I was leaning. I don't know. It's even more so than that, though, because I felt like I was very adamant that no one can know, so why choose one way or the other? Like, let's just focus on other things, I guess. And I do feel like just in the last year, being a little bit more open-minded about not necessarily religion, but like spirituality, or just, that there might be something bigger than just me.
Yeah. So I've already spoken to my background. Again, brought up in a relatively religious Jewish household. Again, we didn't keep kosher, but Judaism was a very important part of my childhood, is a very important part of my family, still is an important part of my family. My grandparents, their parents, I think this is the case, at least my grandfather's parents came here from Eastern Europe to escape pogroms, basically, from in Poland, in that area. And if they hadn't left when they did, my grandparents probably would have been born into, World War II Europe. So, my family was not too far removed from the Holocaust, and obviously that was brought up quite a bit. But also, with Judaism, there's the religious aspect of it, right? Like there's the Torah and the teachings of those sorts of things. But then there is this ethnic component, right? The Jewish people are a people separated from other people, quite literally through genetics and other sorts of things. And so I've always felt a strong connection to other Jewish people, even as I've grown up and removed myself to some extent from the sort of the theology and the religious aspect of it. But, and I think you would agree with this as well, there are parts of my childhood and the religious parts of my childhood that I did enjoy that. I certainly enjoyed the holidays. I enjoyed the community that being part of a temple brought. And while I didn't love going to temple, there were certain times of the year where going to temple was a lot of fun, and connecting with people there was really enjoyable. And so we are in a bit of a conundrum here as we, first of all, as we bring two traditions together, right? As we bring Judaism and Christianity together. But also, we are in a bit of a sticky situation where we need to figure out, as parents, what do we teach our children?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we have any answers.
No, we really don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think it's important to raise our kids with an understanding of where the holidays came from and why people celebrate them and why they continue to last, and just that historical element is, I think, really important for them to understand and know. But figuring out how to do that without claiming a belief in it.
Yeah, I mean, I think, so this is why I think the separation between religion and ethnic or cultural elements in Judaism is a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Because...
At least that's, yeah, from your perspective, that's how has seemed.
Well,
like, you're not Orthodox.
Right, but so like most, if not all of the Jewish holidays, at least the ones that we focus on in our family, are centered around a tale as old as time, right? Like somebody trying to wipe out the Jewish people and the Jewish people being like, nah, we're not into that. And then sort of rising up with the help of God to overcome oppression. And so like thematically, it's really easy to talk about like the symbols in a holiday, in a Jewish holiday, and talk about we do this because this represents some kind of oppression and us overcoming it. And then of course you string in, you know, like things that are you know, more of the religious aspect, and you can disconnect the two from each other. You can say some people believe that this thing happened, but like so for example, because I want us to go through specific holidays and traditions we do, but just to talk about like Hanukkah represents a time when the Jewish people were oppressed. A group of Jews called the Maccabees rose up. They overcame the oppression, and they fought back, and they won. And then so that all happened, like that historically happened. So then, but the religious element of it, of course, is that there was only enough oil. For those of you that don't know the story of Hanukkah, the Maccabees and Jewish people go into the temple. This was one of the like big temples at the time, and the place was completely desecrated. I think it was the Greeks had completely destroyed the temple, and they, over the place where the Torah is kept, it's called the Ark, there's always supposed to be a light, and there was only enough oil for like the light to go for 1 or 2 days, but then it lasted for 8 days magically, which then allowed them to get enough oil to keep the light going, right? So that's the religious part of it, right? Is like the idea that like God kept the oil burning for 8 days, and so it's, you know, it's called Hanukkah's the miracle of lights, and so and some people believe that that's true, and maybe that did happen and all that, but and certainly we've talked to our children about that, but we always explain it as like some people believe that this happened, but we can still talk about the holiday of Hanukkah and what happened at Hanukkah. So with most Jewish holidays, you can talk about it without there being sort of a religious connotation.
Yeah, and I think that's the power of stories, right? So even if a story isn't true, and you know, I'm not saying they're not true. Right. I'm just saying even if a story is completely false, but there is power behind it and there's meaning behind it, then that itself is valuable, and you're teaching certain things through the story and passing those traditions down. So there's still a lot of beauty and value to that, whether you believe what was in the story or not.
Mm-hmm. So that's our background. That's sort of how we are coming to this with our children. And again, I think it's really important to note that we have no answers. We're kind of floundering as we figure it out. And every year is a little bit different. But I do kind of want to dig into a little bit like what holidays look like in our house. So since it's December, let's just focus on those holidays for now. So in December, I grew up celebrating Hanukkah, and you grew up celebrating
Christmas.
Cool. I just kind of told...
And my birthday.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
very much believe in my birthday.
It's Meghann month.
Yep.
So anyways, I kind of told the story of Hanukkah. Why don't you, for the people out there who don't know the story of Christmas, why don't you go ahead and tell us the story of Christmas?
The story of Christmas is all about the birth of Jesus, and Jesus is the Son of God, and he was born to a woman named Mary, who was a virgin. So it was a miraculous birth, and they were in Bethlehem. There was no room in the inn, so Mary had to give birth in a stable, and then placed Jesus in a manger. And 3 wise men came to deliver gifts. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh. I believe.
Yeah, this is way deeper than I thought we were going to go.
Oh,
okay.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
No, that's okay. Keep going. Is there anything else?
Well, this was all told to Mary as well, that she was going to have a baby.
Right.
By an angel. An angel came to Mary to tell her this, and she was like, but how is that going to be? And God was going to fill her womb. So Christmas is the story of the birth of Jesus.
That's what I thought you were.
Okay.
I thought that was going to be the extent
You just wanted the
of it.
one sentence.
It's all good.
Got it. There's some religious education for you.
Yeah, we celebrate both in this household, and so we have so to celebrate Hanukkah, Jewish people have what's called a menorah. A menorah has 8 places for candles, with a 9th place for what's called the shamas candle, which is the candle you use to light the other candles. And so we have menorahs in our house, and for Hanukkah we light menorahs with our children. Snuz is now at the age where she can actually hold the candles and she can light them. And she's also at the age where she can sing the songs. And
she's
last year...
starting to sing them. Not perfectly, but she's starting to remember some of the words.
Yep. And so I always, in the past, it's been sort of like, what is the thing that holds the candle called? And like her trying to get her to remember that. And what's the candle that we hold that we use to light all the other candles? And like having her remember that. And last year she really did remember some of the names. And I do also tell the story of Hanukkah, and I talk to her about the fact that she's Jewish, and although technically I guess it goes through the mother, so she's not, but
I ruined that for you.
You really muddied the waters there, didn't
sorry.
You? But I do talk to her about how she's Jewish, and she always she doesn't understand, so she's like, I'm not Jewish. But I do tell her the story, and then typically different families have different traditions around gift giving. I grew up in a family where we just got a bunch of gifts on the first night, and then we didn't get gifts on the other nights. Some people do gifts on each night. Some people do like a big gift on the first night with like very small gifts given throughout. But one of the things that we wanted to be careful with is, I didn't want our kids growing up in this sort of materialistic household where they were just getting a tremendous number of gifts during the Hanukkah and Christmas season. So we spoke with I had a conversation about this with my Aunt Michelle, and she gave us some ideas, and so we have themed...
Shout out to Aunt Michelle from episode 2.
Right. Yep. Our first interview.
Everybody knows who she is, hopefully.
And so we have themed nights. So like we'll have pajama and movie night where the kids get a new set of pajamas and then we watch a movie together. We have book night where the kids get new books. We have give a gift to a friend night where they like get gifts for friends and they go into the community and give gifts to friends. We've done things where we go to a food shelf and give them food. We've done things where they choose one of their toys and they give it away. We do things
Like a game or puzzle night.
Yeah, so we try to have thematic nights that are not necessarily focused on material items, or if they are focused on material items, they are things that we can do together.
Yeah.
So in that way, we use Hanukkah as a way to kind of give back to the community or foster our own community in our household with things, which I really like. I really like that we do that. And kudos to Meghann for being the one who like buys all the gifts and wraps them up. And
That's true. You often don't know what they're
I
getting.
have no idea what's happening. This is
great.
This is one of the ways in which we are a traditional cis household where the woman does all the gift getting and giving, and the man has no idea what's going on.
Last Christmas, it's always just fun to like watch your face while they're opening gifts because it's like a surprise to you too.
Yep. So that is what we do with Hanukkah. Oh, we typically have like a latke night where we make latkes.
Yep.
For those of you that don't know, latkes are potato pancakes. They're a traditional food that is eaten during Hanukkah. Do you know why latkes are?
I do know why.
Go ahead.
Because the oil that was used to light the menorah.
Not the menorah.
Or
the light over the ark. Yeah.
In the story, you needed oil.
Yes.
And so things like donuts and
which
latkes,
are also called... Nope. You've got the right sound in there. It's just not the beginning.
It's a G.
In the middle.
Oh, okay.
Sufganiyot.
I would not. Nope. I don't remember.
So yeah.
Reminds me of Sufjan Stevens.
Yep. Just belittle my religion.
But yeah, I do know that. The oil.
Yeah, very, very good.
Thank you. So part of this is all tied into being a kindergarten teacher, and we would do holidays around the world, and so I also had to learn kind of how you keep the theology out when you're teaching to a class in public education and what that looks like. So yeah. So I learned all the little symbols.
All right, so tell the all three of our listeners what we do around Christmas.
Around Christmas, we usually get our Christmas tree in the beginning of December. We decorate our tree. That's really pagan, though. There's no tie there to the Christmas story of why we have a Christmas tree and put ornaments on it.
But I will say, because when I was very, prior to us even meeting, I would have been very against there being a Christmas tree in the house or anything like that. But I have to say,
you love the Christmas tree.
I don't think there is anything better in the middle of winter than coming home and lighting up your Christmas tree and putting on some like instrumental Christmas music, drinking some tea. Like, it's just
hot cocoa.
And it's just the light is really nice. Yep. There's and the smell, like there's nothing better.
It's really nice. And then for the actual, now we have the tradition. This is also tying to your Jewish tradition, I guess. Christmas Eve, we invite all of my family over for Chinese food because Jewish people typically get Chinese food on Christmas or Christmas Eve.
It's usually pretty common to do it on Christmas. Although everyone's different. Some people do it Christmas Eve, some people do it on Christmas. But the typical Jewish thing to do on Christmas is Chinese food in a movie.
So we do that Christmas Eve with my family, and we host that.
We host that now, yeah.
And then on Christmas morning, just the last couple years, actually, we've begun having our own Christmas morning in our house with the girls, so we can just have an easy, like, chill morning, and we go through all our presents with them. We did decide last year, like, we would say one gift was... No, not one gift. The stocking is what comes from Santa.
Which isn't you. That's your mom.
That was my mother.
You grew up.
I grew up where the stocking was from Santa, and usually like one bigger gift was from Santa. And then the rest, it was very much known by me and my brothers that those were from the family. Well, so that we never felt like, oh, Santa's getting us all of the things, and then, you talk to your friend and Santa only got them a little bit or whatever. Like, there wasn't that story.
So tell our listeners, because this was all new to me, like this whole, like, what your family... What kinds of things, when you were a kid, did you get in your stocking stuffers? So these are the things, again, that Santa got you, right? Yep. In the stocking stuffers. What kinds of things did you get in your stocking stuffers?
As a kid, it was different. As a kid, it was a lot of, like, candy and, like, little trinkety things.
Yeah.
As we got older...
small things.
Yeah,
they were
very
pretty small things.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they have to fit in a stocking. Yeah. So it's pretty small... Maybe like pens and socks and underwear, socks. Like things that you kind of needed.
As you got older, it would be like deodorant.
Little trinkets. Yeah, as we got older, it became all the like adult hygiene stuff. So we'd get our toothpaste, we'd get some new toothbrushes, always socks. Socks are great.
And your mom still does that.
Yeah. Yeah. We get soap.
Yep.
My mom also puts in banana bread.
Yeah, we get banana bread or pumpkin bread, which is
always in the stocking.
If she just filled my stocking with just that chocolate coconut banana bread, if I just got like 10 of those,
yeah,
I think I'd be very happy.
Also, growing up, we had, I wouldn't say we did this every year, but some years my mom would make a chocolate cake and we would sing happy birthday to Jesus. Okay. And then we'd light a candle and put it outside for the wind to blow out.
Oh,
so it was like a birthday cake for Jesus.
It's like the Elijah of Passover.
Yeah, kind of.
But I love the fact, because that was a thing that I, like, the Santa thing was tough for me, and I didn't love the idea of, like, our kids thinking that there was this, like, person who was coming down and giving them stuff. And then, of course, there is the issue of, like, why did they get stuff but other people didn't, and so forth. But I thought your family's way of handling that, the idea that, like, yeah, Santa brings these, like, small little sort of trinkety things in the stocking stuffers, but the gifts are from parents or from siblings or whatever. I thought that was a pretty ingenious way of doing that.
That's a big part of us growing up with the solid understanding that Christmas wasn't about the gifts. Christmas was about Jesus and his birth and that story. And that was always the center. Like, we always were very much made aware that that's what Christmas was about.
Right.
Which I can really appreciate. So figuring out how to tie Santa in. Again, Santa's not part of that religious story. Right. But he's part of Christmas. And... yeah, we had to have those conversations, and it's all going to evolve,
Well, so, and what I love about that is that is a way, because, like, we don't talk about the true meaning of Christmas in our household, because that's not something that we necessarily believe, so we very much are culturally
that's part
celebrating
of
Christmas.
The conversation, because I do think at some point, and maybe this year, like, it makes sense. Like, I do, again, want to tell them the story.
Right.
Because I think that's important for them to understand where it all came from. But doing it in a way that's not like, this is what we necessarily believe.
Yeah. But I love the fact that, like, the idea that Santa did the stocking stuffers came from this idea from your parents of, like, Christmas is not about gifts, it's not about Santa, it's about Jesus.
Yeah.
So, like, that inherently came from a need to keep Christmas about the religion.
Yep.
That we've now taken that tradition, we continue that tradition, but it's done for a different reason. There's something really kind of beautiful about that.
It's cool.
I never really connected those dots until just now, but I think that's like there's some real, like, because tradition. For me, it's all about, and of course, people will remember the Fiddler on the Roof song, right?
Tradition.
But tradition is so important to Jewish people, and it's important to it's important to all family. I mean, tradition is the thing that connects generation to generation. And for me, like, celebrating the Jewish holidays isn't necessarily about the religious aspect of it. It's about the tradition of it. It's about, like, I did this thing with my family, and like my family did it with their family, and like for generation after generation after generation, this is a thing that has been done. And so now you're taking a thing from your family that they did, and the reasoning for it doesn't have to be the same as the reasoning for that we did it, but they did it. It's a thing that we find value in, and we continue it on. And I hope that our children will grow up, and if they decide to have children, that they will continue the tradition of having stocking stuffers come from Santa, but the gifts come from the parents, depending on what they choose to do. Because I think it's a beautiful thing. There's something deep there that I think has value.
Yeah.
It's really important.
Absolutely.
So one of the last sort of Christmas traditions that you brought to us is also, again, is...
It has nothing to do with Jesus.
Well, yeah, and it's not... It's a play on a pretty traditional Christmas thing. So go ahead.
Yeah. So, you have the elf on the shelf. Instead, we have a gnome in our home. And on December 1st, this little gnome appears. And
what's the gnome's name?
The gnome's name is Jinklefluff. And he comes with notes about... he just usually introduces himself back for the year and explains he'll be hanging out. And then every day he moves to a different... So he's very similar to Elf on the Shelf. He moves to different places, or he's finding himself in mischief. One day he was found around a bunch of other gnomes and a candle in the middle as if they were having a bonfire. He's been known to ride a toy dinosaur.
He finds himself, like, hanging out of the trash can.
Or hanging in the tree.
Yeah.
So Snez will have to hunt for him and find him every day.
This was the first year, I think, that Snuz said, like, oh, do you think Jinklefluff will come back?
Yeah, I think we had a picture of him or something that we saw, and she's like, oh, I wonder if Jinklefluff will be here this year.
And our lovely sister-in-law, Kayla, shout out to Kayla, bought everyone in the family these, like, beautiful... They're houses, and they're an advent calendar, so, like, the windows and doors all open, and you can put stuff in there. And so...
That's part of Jinklefluff, right? Jinklefluff leaves...
chocolate.
3 little... a few chocolates in there every day.
We'll have to double it for both of our children.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be hard this year.
They're going to have to share.
Because last year we just didn't give Mouse anything.
Well, she was too young for it.
Yeah. So that was fun. But the symbols around these holidays, I remember when teaching to my kindergarten classes, a big theme in these winter holidays is bringing light into the darkness. And I think that's really beautiful.
Well, and there's something magical about that time of year. And, like, we've attempted with our traditions to weave magic and to allow the innocence of childhood to really come forth during that time of year. And I get swept up in it too. I really love it.
Yeah, because, like, even religion aside, and you think about Santa, we had to have those conversations of, like, are we gonna just lie to our children that there's this big fat man who comes down and
who's checking them throughout the year, and making sure they're not
doing
we don't
really talk about that, but and then we kind of decided yes, because there's a sense of magic there. And
same with the gnome, like, it's so I have friends that are like, oh, so you're just, like, lying to your kids, and it's like, yeah, we are. And and I think that childhood is fleeting. There's gonna come a time not too long in the future, not too far in the future, where Jingle Fluff is not gonna land for Snuzz, and I'd like to try and keep their childhood as magical as possible for as long as possible.
Yeah, and I read something a couple years back about, like, it was something that was written from this family who basically, when their child realized that Santa wasn't real, having this whole conversation with them, like, oh, well, actually, you've gotten to the point now where you can be Santa.
Mm-hmm.
And teaching them that this is all around selflessness and thinking of others, and Santa is really the symbol of gift giving and trying to give to others and find out what they need and want and providing that. And I think that's really beautiful. So that, and I'm finding that as myself becoming a parent, you're almost getting the magic back, even though you're not feeling it the way you did as a kid. There's so much more magic now as a parent, like creating that for your kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I do remember there were years when you're, late teenagehood, and you're like, oh, it's like Christmas would be kind of sad.
Yeah.
You had that memory of it being really magical, but you didn't feel that way anymore, and it was kind of a downer. There's like this transitional period, and now I feel like I'm back in it because I'm creating that for the next generation.
Yeah.
Like, we are Santa,
I remember, like, with Hanukkah, watching my younger cousins, and that, like, watching them get excited about gifts and things like that, and, like, I remember that being kind of similar in that it's like, oh, like, I can vicariously live, like, I can vicariously experience that innocence and joy through them.
And it keeps it going.
So, yeah, I mean, what I think people can gather from this episode is that we don't have any idea what we're doing.
We have no answers at all.
But I did think that with it being December, it would be good to just kind of talk about the way we're BSing our way through this and trying to figure it out as we go. But, we're constantly shifting and learning and figuring out how to raise kids with our traditions.
And as they get older, they're probably going to be more curious and ask questions too, and make it more of a natural conversation also.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think overall the stories themselves are really important.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at. Like, I still want my kid to understand the story of all the holidays we celebrate and why.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And the meaning and value behind them, and how they bring us together.
Cool. On to our next section.
Yeah.
Listeners, all three of you, email us and come and help us name the sections to our episode. So this portion of the episode is things that are happening in our children's lives that we love, and things that are happening in our children's lives that we don't love. Do you want to go first?
Maybe like a current events.
Yeah, it's a current events section.
Current events section.
Okay. You want to go first?
Yeah. We'll start with likes.
Okay. You're just going to say one, and then I say one.
Yeah, one for me is Snuzz is, like, officially reading. Like, she brought out a book the other day and just started reading it on the floor of the kitchen, and I think I was just doing dishes, and I just stopped and I, like, looked at you, and I'm like, I have no idea how she learned this book.
It was a book she had never read before.
It was a book she'd never read before, with words that were way harder than what I had taught her.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just fluently reading it.
Yeah.
And I said to you, she's officially past where I used to like teach kindergartners.
Yeah.
In the spring.
Yeah.
So like I don't know.
Kid
And
just
part
loves
of
to read.
she adores books, and every night our deal is that, because she'll say every night, I don't want to go to bed, I'm not tired. And I just say, if you're not tired, then just look at some books, and then you'll fall asleep after. And she's like, okay.
She has a pile of like probably 20 or 30 books on her bed.
Huge pile on her bed. It's amazing it doesn't fall over, but she's like not long enough yet to kick them over.
Anything, yeah.
And so she'll spend probably a good 15 minutes every night just in her bed by herself, reading to herself.
I think what's really interesting about the reading thing, so Snuz has been motivated by books since day one. Like, she came out and she was ready to get into books.
When she learned to crawl, she crawled right over to the books in our living room and pulled one out.
Yeah. And
we have a video of it.
When she was younger, we would have to be the ones that would be like, okay, we're done reading.
Yeah.
She would sit for like 2 hours and read books. Like,
she would have us read Chicka Chicka Boom Boom over and over and over. Like, she could just listen to it all day long.
And so, you being an early childhood educator, you have like, you bought these books on like how to teach kids how to read, and you like walked through lessons with her, and she ate it all up and is now at, almost 5 reading.
Yeah.
Our other one, Mouse, has the attention span of a goldfish.
Yeah. But
and
totally normal.
It would like I'm not
age.
nothing negative, but like I what I'm saying is that like our first one highly motivated to read. Our second one probably will read at a normal age because I don't think she'll be as motivated to read. And so I think for people that hear you say like,
right.
Like we didn't really do anything to get Snuz to read.
Yeah.
She wanted to read.
Or just she's always been the kid who could just sit there and do a quiet activity.
Yes, she has.
For a good period of time.
She has the ability to really hyper-focus on things for quite some time.
Yeah. Whether that was, reading or doing coloring. Like, she can just sit. Even when I think back to her being 6 months old, just learning to sit up, like, she would just happily sit there and
for like 15
play,
to 20 minutes, yeah.
And show no interest in wanting to crawl or move.
Yeah.
Whereas the second is the complete opposite. It's all about movement. And yeah,
she was moving well before she could even sit up. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. One thing that's going on right now that I really love. So Mouse is starting to sing. And I remember when Snuz started to sing. And I remember just like driving Snuz to school. And her just like in the back singing. And now I get to do that all over again with Mouse. And it is so freaking adorable.
That tiny little voice.
And like missing the words and saying the wrong word. And it's so singing off key. Like, it is so freaking cute. It's too good.
Like, she does a kinkle, kinkle, it'll star.
Yep.
Or A, B, C, D, F, G, H, J, J, K, M, double X, Z. And she's yay!
All right. You got one.
Well, actually, on that same note, I had Snuz and her singing because she has recently gotten really into Taylor Swift.
Snuz has?
Yeah. So I've on repeat, I've been listening to Taylor Swift's new album, and so she's been hearing that, and pretty consistently, like, I'll just hear her in the backseat be like, I'll protect the family. Like, she's starting to learn the words, and then some of the songs, when they're like inappropriate, she's singing it incorrectly because she doesn't know the words right, but it's like so funny. And she'll ask to play Taylor Swift in the car, and so that's exciting because I'm not just listening to Disney all the time.
Yep. One thing that I don't love about what's happening right now, Mouse is definitely, there's more of like mine and she like is taking things. There's more like inter-sibling
Yes,
stuff,
I had that as well.
and
More fighting.
and it's more like it's coming more from Mouse than it has in the past.
Yeah.
And I don't love that.
Yeah, especially when for so long they've gotten along
Really,
absolutely
really well.
beautifully. Like, we couldn't have asked for better sibling connection. And lately, it just seems like they're constantly kind of at each other and taking each other's toys on purpose. And it's a lot. And obviously, Mouse is more aware now of what is hers, what's Snuzz's, and that. Yeah, it's just complicated, more complicated.
All right, your turn.
Yeah, so I also had more fighting, but another thing that I'm not loving is Mouse has hit the point where when I try to dress her in the morning, she has opinions.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll think I have the best outfit picked out, and I try to put the shirt on her, and she's like, no, and she fights me, and it's a power struggle I really don't need to get into, but yesterday I really tried to get her in this jumper because it's so adorable, and she was very angry, and I actually got it on her like kind of forcefully, and then she raged, so I took it off of her. But I just don't love that because it was a lot easier to get her dressed in the morning before.
One thing that I love, and this is, it's not like a consistent thing, but so Snuz is not like a super cuddly kid, but she used to cuddle when she was younger. Mouse is a very cuddly kid, and Snuz, as she's getting older, is cuddling less and less. But when I do get snuggles from her, they are absolutely wonderful.
Aww.
And I love that.
That's so sweet. Mouse's mispronunciations.
Mm-hmm.
And I realize there's going to be a day where we don't have those. So I really just try to appreciate them every time I hear them. So right now, my favorites are Plello, is pillow.
Mm-hmm.
Blanklet, for blanket. And Bunky for monkey.
Mm-hmm.
She has a little stuffed monkey. That's her favorite. She's a Bunky.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the three I wrote down. But there are more.
Oh, there are a lot more, yeah.
But they're just so cute.
One thing I don't love, so both of our kiddos were excellent eaters. Anything I put in front of them, they ate.
Yep.
And for a long time now, Snuz has been getting pickier and pickier. But basically, like tonight for dinner, Snuz ate 2 rolls, I think like a cinnamon graham cracker.
And then a Hershey bar.
Like
a mini Hershey bar from her Halloween candy.
She didn't even eat, we put yogurt in front of her, she didn't even eat that.
Yeah, because our strategy for the longest time, which we thought was
it was working.
Pretty great.
It was working
great. Was if she really hated the dinner we had, she could always choose yogurt instead.
Right, because yogurt's good.
Yogurt.
Yogurt's good for you, and I don't have to cook. I just scoop it out and stick it on the plate.
You're not making another meal or anything, and that was good to go for a very long time.
But it's
now it's not. Good. Now she doesn't even eat the yogurt. So my saving grace is milk. They will drink milk, so at least I know they're drinking protein.
So and I do all of the cooking in our house, and I got to tell you, like. You spend the time to cook. You make a nutritious, good meal that took time and energy and is good for you, and your kid takes one look at it and goes, "I don't like that," and it's just, man, there are a few things that get me going as quickly as that.
Yeah, and again, it's another power struggle that like you really can't engage in because it's not like you can force your kid to take food in their mouth.
Right.
You have no power over that.
Basically, what we're saying is that our kid, our first child, is malnourished because she refuses to eat any of the very delicious food that I make for her.
Yeah, but she really likes milk and chocolate. So.
Yeah. All right, we're going to move into our next section called couples counseling.
Couples counseling.
Yeah, we'll just edit that right out.
Or is it couples therapy? I feel like some episodes we say
I don't know.
couples
It
therapy.
doesn't matter.
We need like to narrow
this
down.
is the part
our
of
titles,
our episode where we air out our problems for everyone
our
else
grievances.
for everyone else to listen to, because that's exactly what they want. So about a year ago, I think it was about a year ago, my good friend Casey, shout out to Casey, who out of all of my friends actively listens to these episodes. He's listened to every single one so far.
He is our most loyal follower who refuses to hit the follow button.
Yeah, he's made it very clear that he would like it to be that he would like you to stop demanding people to follow, subscribe.
You know what? Let's take a moment right now. Everybody,
For Casey,
pause this episode and just click the follow, or wherever you're listening to this podcast, whatever platform, follow, like, subscribe for Casey.
Yeah, do it for Casey. And Casey, you should do it too. So anyways, about a year ago, Casey started planning a trip to Patagonia in Chile. And just to give people a little bit of a background, Casey is the friend who I've traveled with the most. And I've done some of my most fun trips with. So when I was 19, I went cross-country with him and another friend of ours, Case. And Casey was the best man at my wedding. And for my bachelor party, we went to... we did a 5-day trek to Machu Picchu, which was something that he had brought up, knowing that South America was... in general, was just like a bucket list destination for me. And then for his bachelor party, we went to Colombia. I've been to Yosemite with him. And so anyways, we started planning this trip to Patagonia, and it was a bit of a hard sell. Although it actually wasn't that hard of a sell. I think you...
Well, I had specific requests.
Well, so before we get into that, so this trip required me to be gone for like 10 or 11 days.
10 days, I think.
Yeah. So I abandoned you with 2 children for 10 days.
Yep.
And so we're going to talk a little bit about, because this just happened. At the time of us recording this, I'm
fresh.
Like 5 days back from the trip. And so when I asked you if I could go on that trip, do you remember what your initial reaction was?
It was kind of like a, what? Oh, no.
That is not what your initial reaction was.
Are you asking what I said?
Yeah, what was your initial reaction?
Oh, I don't remember.
Your initial reaction was like, oh, of course you're not doing that.
Really?
That was your initial reaction.
I don't remember that.
And then I said, I hear you. This is a lot. And then I said, this is a bucket list trip. I would really like to go on it. Uh-huh. And then you gave me permission to go on the trip.
Jeez. Okay, my memory is that you started the conversation saying, this is a big ass.
I did say that, yeah.
And you can say no. But, like, this is a really important thing that I have been wanting to do. Or, you know, that's kind of how I remember you laying it out. And it was probably a year in advance.
Yeah. What was difficult, I think, or most difficult about me being the one to leave is that I'm the one that does both the drop-offs and pickups for school. So from my perspective, the hard part about this, obviously besides you taking care of 2 children for 10 days by yourself, was the fact that you work in the opposite direction of their school, and now we had to figure out how we were going to do drop-offs and pickups.
I work in the opposite direction of their school. I also work 50 minutes away from their school.
Right.
So it's not even just, you know, not the greatest, like, directional situation. It's very far from the school.
Would you agree, though, that was that the biggest hurdle, you think?
So that and having to put both kids to sleep.
Because we divide and conquer.
Yeah, we each take a kid.
Yeah. So I agreed to help.
Well, I told you, I was like, the only way that I could even see this happening is if I get support for, I think all I really said was pickups. Like, if I can know that I don't have to pick up the kids every day, that would be huge.
And we did that, right? We got pickups mostly covered?
No, pickups were taken care of every single day you were gone. I didn't pick the kids up once.
That's great.
Except, well, Halloween, because they had a Halloween event, so
yeah, and
I was already planning on.
Anyways.
Yeah, I took a personal day for that day.
And then the other thing is that I do all the dinners.
Yep.
So I agreed that I would cook a bunch of meals for you and freeze them so that way you had them.
Yeah.
And that worked out well.
That worked out really well. We were on your last dinner, and we still had plenty when you came back.
I came home and got to eat some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those two things, I had a lot of great support. Shout out to my neighbor Kristen, who was on last month's episode. She did pickups twice that week, and that was so helpful. Shout out to my mom. She watched the girls twice during your trip. And
we
also
love Mima.
Had us over for a spaghetti dinner. So that was really nice.
Yeah. Well, and so your dad, too. Shout out to your
dad. Well, yeah, my dad cooked the spaghetti dinner. Yeah. Shout out to that daughter. And then my friend Juju also picked up one of the days.
And also helped out with Halloween.
Yeah, helped out with Halloween. She actually slept over. So I actually ended up with a really good support network.
Yeah.
The hardest parts were getting the girls to school and bedtime.
Yeah, so...
But even bedtime, we got into a better groove after a couple days.
Mouse is super reliant on me for... Yeah, especially for bedtime.
Do Mouse's bedtime.
Yeah, and she, is... I mean, although now, since being back, she has been crying for you.
Yeah, because we got into such a routine.
So, what was getting her to bed like? Does she... Because a day or two before I left, she started doing the whole crying before going to sleep thing
well,
again.
Mouse, historically, I think because she's the baby, we kind of put up with many, many months of one of us having to lay on the floor for her to fall asleep. And then, I don't know, maybe 3-4 months ago.
No, a month or two ago.
Oh, was it really just that long?
Yeah.
Okay, 2 months ago, maybe?
Yeah.
Kind of gearing up for your trip, I was like, we can't keep doing this, and we need to cut this out. So we did some cry it out, got her sleeping on her own, falling asleep on her own. It maybe took, I don't know, 4 days.
Yeah, less than a week.
It was less than a week. 4 days, maybe 2 of those days were really hard, and the other 2 were okay. But we got her independently falling asleep, no problem. And then 2 days before you leave, complete regression. Yeah, I don't know if she just completely sensed that something was up and you were about to leave. I'm sure we were talking about it a bunch. But she just would not fall asleep on her own anymore. And one of those nights I told you, I need to do it because she's going to have to get used to me doing it. And I can't remember what happened that night, if I ended up having to lay on the floor again. But that was really frustrating. And I was very upset. And then you left. And the first night you were gone, she had a really hard night. So she wouldn't fall asleep on her own. And then when she finally did... She woke up again at, I think, midnight or maybe 1 a.m. And I tried to bring her in the bed. She did not fall asleep there. She was bouncing around a bunch. So around 2:30, I think, I went back up. I put her in the crib and I slept on the floor. And I was texting my neighbors, constantly. My girlfriends just being like, I can't start this this way, because that is setting the precedent that while Mike's gone, this is how it's going to go. And they were so supportive. They're like, you just do whatever you need to do. So I did have to do a little cry it out again. I don't know. I mean, we got there. It was maybe 3 nights. The first night was the worst, with her waking in the middle of the night. That didn't happen again. But getting her to sleep was just kind of a fight and a war. And one of those days she didn't nap well, so I think that impacted it. But I was definitely cursing your name one of those nights when she just wouldn't stop. Yeah. But by the 3rd or 4th night, she figured it out, and the rest of it was fine. Yeah. She did fine after that. To the point where now she's requesting me at bedtime. Because most of the time you were gone, she would just cry for you and scream for Daddy. Yeah. Which was really hard. Yeah.
Well, thank you for doing that for me. There was one day I know where in the morning, Halloween. I wanted to video in. And I don't think either one of us considered the fact that, this is going to create a problem. And I hadn't, so I was in a position where I didn't actually have access to internet at all for 5 days.
4 days?
Yeah, 4 or 5 days. So I couldn't connect with you guys even if I wanted to, which I did want to. I missed you guys immensely. But yeah, I videoed in, and
it was Friday morning. I was getting Mouse up and you were video calling. So, she woke up basically to the phone in her face with Daddy on it. Yeah. And that was all fine and good. And then we end the phone call and I have to get them ready for school on my own. And they were just complete meltdown city. Everything was a fight. Everything was whining.
And it hadn't been like that.
No. The mornings actually... Those were such a win. They did so great, and there were, I think, 3 of those days where I had to wake them up really early because I had to get to work. Yeah. And they did so well with those, but that Friday, I think it just completely threw them off after not seeing you, and so I was upset about that.
Well, it's funny because I wrote and I was like, yeah, I should have known. I shouldn't have videoed them. And you, joking, were like, yeah, I mean, God forbid you video your kids.
How dare you want to see your children.
Right. Well, anyways, thank you for, taking that on. And, I mean, it was an amazing trip. I was very glad to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you taking care of them.
So I appreciate you appreciating me. I honestly, I don't know, it wasn't, it was a lot, flat out, yes, it is a lot, and it's a lot to ask for, but part of me really did enjoy aspects of it. I don't know, there's some situations when, you're gone, I get to just, at night, I just do whatever I want and eat whenever I want.
Oh, this is...
Not that I can't...
Oh, okay, no. All right, you heard it here first, folks. This is the beginning of the end of our relationship. This is it.
But something
we made it to
fun.
episode 7. And you're announcing to the world that your life is just better when I'm not around.
No.
I mean, look, none of the listeners are surprised by that. They all know me, and they know that, you're crazy for being with me, but...
No, you're great. But...
You have to say that.
There were parts of it that was just kind of nice. Not having to check in with another parent. Your co-parent about anything, and...
Well, it's also nice, as much as, it's kind of sad to sleep in a bed by yourself, it's also kind of nice to have a bed to yourself, right?
Yeah, and I wasn't even, in the past, when you've gone on long trips, I'll feel super scared at night. Going to the actual act of going to bed and turning off all the lights and locking all the doors, there's a little bit sense of fear. I didn't feel any of that this time, and I don't know why, but that felt a lot better. And yeah, I mean, there were some nights where I was just working out for a really long time, or I was reading, or just scrolling.
Just living your best life. All right.
You know what? Maybe you should just leave again. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow. Unbelievable.
No, but it was good. Overall. It was good. We really missed you, though.
Well, you just said you didn't.
No, no, both things can be true. Both things.
Look, I'll happily go on another 10-day trip, and you can do it all over again.
No, don't do that.
Okay.
No. Wait, I didn't talk about my biggest meltdown.
Oh, what was your biggest meltdown?
My biggest meltdown was on Halloween. Mm-hmm. It was the same day that you video chatted in, but it was the afternoon, so I got the girls home, and then we were going to go to my neighbor's for Halloween, eating pizza before we went out, trick-or-treating.
Which is, at this point, this is our third year?
It's a tradition.
Third year that we've done it, yeah.
Holiday tradition. But yeah, the girls were just at each other. They were fighting over, they had all these goodie bags from school, and they just kept trying to grab each other's thing, and we were like getting ready to get out the door, and Snuz goes over to her toy, and she's like, no, you can't have this, and then Mouse grabbed it, and I think Snuz screamed at her and might have even pushed her, and I do not scream. Like, I am not a screamer. I am the most patient person.
Yeah, you are actually like the most patient person.
People know that of me. I am so patient, and I just screamed at them. I was like, both of you going to timeout. I put both of them in their rooms, and I just needed.
I bet they were shocked by that.
Yeah, they were just like, what?
They probably didn't know what to do. They're like, "What? Who is this person?"
I'm like, I am done.
Yeah, that's way more. That's way more dad energy.
But that was, again, I felt like that was kind of a win to get from, you had left that previous Thursday. So over a week.
You went over a week, yeah.
I went to that following Friday was when I had my meltdown.
Yeah.
And that was probably the hardest part of that, and hearing Mouse scream, falling asleep. Those are the two hardest points, but we did it.
Well, you did it. And it's over now. And, in like 2 years, I'll go on another trip.
No.
So.
I mean, you will. You will do that. But let's just not talk about it.
We won't talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll wait. Like at least 6 months.
Well, also, I gotta go on my big 10-day trip now.
Yeah, where are you gonna go? Do you think?
Probably
just like down the street.
I'll probably just find a cave somewhere.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you for listening to this. All three of our listeners, we really appreciate it. As Megan mentioned before, hit that like or subscribe or follow button, whichever one you have in front of you. And Meghann works really hard to put out content on Instagram.
Yeah, really.
So
I just, follow us on Instagram. Pondering Parenthood Pod.
If you want to watch some really strange
they're not that
AI-created content.
Listen, you've already talked about this, and they're really not that bad. They're getting better.
The AI is learning.
Yeah, AI is definitely learning.
Also, email us at ponderingparenthoodpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are. We'd love to hear names for our different sections. We definitely could use some outsourcing of that. And if you are a listener who's not a family or a family member or a friend, if you're just some random person listening, email us. If you have kiddos, we'd love to have you on. We'd love to interview you.
Yeah.
So email us. Again, it's ponderingparenthoodpodcast@gmail.com. All right. We did it.